Tell a ghost story.
Okay.
We're around a campfire, roasting
Yeah.
marshmallows.
Okay, guys. So, we're around the campfire, and make sure you get my marshmallow because I'm gonna tell a ghost story. So, one time I was at a garage sale, and I found a scary vase with pine cones all over it, and I picked it up, and I didn't pay for it. I stole it. I went home. I took the pine cone vase, and I put it in my drawer so Mama didn't see it. And that night I heard a rumbling and tumbling in my drawers, and I went and opened it up, and there was a little slimy green little ghost goblin in my drawers.
It's kind of hot.
Crawling out of pine cones, and he stuck his finger out at me, and he said, "I'll fucking kill you." And he jumped up, and he tore off my earlobes.
Is that why you talk like that?
And that's why I don't. I can't hear, so I don't know how I sound like. So that's why I talk like that.
And that
Terrifying.
was the scariest story for a time.
I love how we said do a ghost story, and that's what you came up with.
He was like goblins. He said
Goblins
goblins.
in my drawer.
No, it was a ghost goblin. It was
Ghost
a slimy
goblin
little
in my
green
drawer.
ghost goblin.
Okay.
Sounds
It's
like a
ghost-
fucking. That sounds
was
like
a
an
ghost
R.L. Stein novel. Goosebumps. The ghost in my goblin drawer.
Welcome back to Stacked. Listeners beware, you're in for a scare. Or.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy day before Halloween, because this comes out.
Yes,
Friday
this comes out on the
before.
30th. Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Hallows Eve, right?
Halloween.
All I can think about is the election, guys. I'm sorry.
That's pretty scary, right?
That's in 3 days.
That's Halloween themed,
Hmm.
and that's in 3 days.
Yeah.
4 days from Friday.
Oh, okay. Wait, Halloween's on a Friday?
No, Halloween's
Yeah.
on a Saturday, but this
Halloween
comes out on
Saturday.
Friday.
Saturday, Sunday. Oh,
We're
yeah.
even doing
Yeah,
math.
you're right.
We're kind of
Brandon's doing
past
calculus
right
in his
now.
head right now.
Yeah, I'm doing math, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
That's the Brandon says he doesn't have any fears, but in reality, there's one fear right there.
The
The
election.
Well,
I'm fairly strong and fearless, except for the election. That's
I'm
a real
brave.
thing.
I'm not scared. I'm brave.
I'm
One
brave.
Okay, welcome back to Stacked, everybody. That's right. This is the ultimate, the final Halloween-athon episode
For 2020.
for 2020, of course.
yeah.
We'll see where the future takes us, and other spooky, scary topics we'll come up with next week. But next year, Jesus. But yeah, this is our last Halloween episode, and we decided to end it with, like we did with the summer movies episode, we decided to do movies that remind us of Halloween and the Halloween season, just in overall in general, right?
hmm
No.
Brandon, Chris, how did we how did we come to making these lists? Like, what was your criteria for deciding what movie is a Halloween movie?
You know, it had to be spooky. It had to have some sort of weird costume for me. Like, it had to have the vibe of Halloween. It didn't have to be a Halloween set movie, and I don't even think I had a Halloween set movie, but it had to be something that was something you could watch on Halloween every year, but like didn't necessarily have to do with it. But that doesn't mean like I went out and did like, oh, Conjuring, Insidious, all these like scary ghost movies or zombie movies, because not all of those really represent Halloween in my eyes. Like, Halloween is fun, Halloween is scary, and
Yeah.
Halloween is wild. So I wanted to capture that with my list.
For me, it's kind of like similar to Brandon in the sense of like those specific criteria. But the main thing for me was the last couple of stacks that we've done have been very like horror driven. And that definitely does emulate into my list as well. But I wanted to be able to bring out more of like the comedic side of Halloween, like not just the trick, but also the treat, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to bring out that fun aspect every now and then, but also still retain that kind of, horrific aspect. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of how I went about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where like sort of the Halloween season, that's sort of like when I watch Halloween like scary horror films. But usually things that remind me of the holiday itself and that day.
Mhm.
My picks are a bit more, family friendly and comedy, a bit more lighthearted.
I
Okay.
wouldn't say mine are family friendly, but
Oh yeah,
I think we're on
yeah.
like this, like Ethan's family friendly, Brandon's kind of like the more like explicit stuff, and I think I'm landing somewhere in the middle.
Well, that's good. You can have a good
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah.
yeah. This is gonna be fun.
But before we get started,
Shall we
talk about what happened.
talk about
Oh
what we
yes,
did?
let's talk about what we did.
Yeah.
Uh,
We should
uh,
say though, when this episode comes out, it will be almost half a month since this
Yeah.
happened, because we are recording ahead of time because things are catching up with us with schoolwork
Work.
and work and all that. So
Yeah.
this might be outdated news, but we'd love to share it with you guys. So Ethan, why don't you tell them what happened?
Yeah. So, friend of the show, Joey Jordan, approached us a couple weeks ago, and he said, um, Cinemark theaters, they're letting you rent out a theater for only $100. It was $100, somewhere in that area, right? 100 to
Mhm.
150, something like that.
100 for old movies, 150 for new movies.
Oh, okay. So we did an old movie, but what we did, so going to the theater right now is not a prime choice. But this option, if you have people that you trust, that like won't give you COVID, you like that have been following social distancing rules and quarantining,
And
um,
sticking to small groups.
sticking to small groups, we decided to go to a movie together with just a small group of 8 close friends,
Mhm.
and we rented out the entire theater to see Empire Strikes Back, and
Woo!
that was a bucket list item right there to
Yeah,
see that
for
movie
sure.
on the big screen. Oh,
Yeah.
what did you guys think of the experience?
I had a wonderful time. I think I was fortunate enough. This is like way back when we started the show, where I was back in Hong Kong and I got to see two movies there, and
Boo.
the theater, the theater going experience was really something special, and like it's something that I know that we've all been craving for a long time, because we're such avid moviegoers and stuff like that. I mean, we all had the AMC A-list subscription and everything, so it was finally so nice to just be in a movie theater, especially with like all of my closest friends from college, and we're just like sitting there enjoying ourselves, laughing, and just like having a great time. And yeah, I mean, like it was just and even apart from the movie, it was just a fun time in general, just to be together again. It felt, I don't know about you guys, but it felt like a prime night in college.
I totally
Yes.
agree.
How do you feel, Brandon?
Well, I wanted Back to the Future, but
Oh my
We know, we all know.
Yeah, boy, we know.
Yeah.
I love
you-
Empire. I love Empire. It was the second best movie we could have chosen, and I'll settle for that.
Yeah, but if
but
it's any consolation, they want, like, Joey wants us to like get together and do Back to the Future sometime, so we could
I
totally do
agree.
that.
Yeah, I'd be down.
I'm down.
It was
Because it's
so
an
much
amazing
fun.
film. Also, I love the experience of just going to a theater. I think it's been like 7 months since March when I last saw a movie in theaters,
Yeah.
right? So like that's probably the longest time I've not been to a movie theater in years, probably since 8th grade, because in 9th grade I started going to the movies like a lot.
Yeah.
And even before that, like when I was in, I think in 2012, when I was like 13, like I was starting to go to the movies more often. But in freshman year, it became like an every week sort of thing. And then I got the job at the theater, and then I got A-list. And in freshman year of college, like we went to like a movie a month at least.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like I kind of forgot what it was like to just like sit down and be in a theater. And it's weird being private, because it's like I've always looked at movie theaters as like a community setting for people to kind of interact with a piece of text together,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as we've talked about in film theory. But I mean, it was still a good experience. It just felt really nice to see something on the big screen in a dark room for once again, and
Yeah.
also to be with friends who had seen the movie before and could also kind of poke fun at parts of the movie. It
Yeah.
was fun.
We
Or
were.
Yoda.
It was, yeah. Ethan and I, like Ethan and I especially, were dying when Yoda was just like on screen at any time. That senile like little thing is just the most incredible puppet I've
It's-
ever seen in my life.
I was just dying of laughter, of just pure delight of seeing that guy again. I don't know. I just love Yoda. And
Yeah, Yoda's fantastic.
man, he's such a perfect character, and I just love his antics. Like, especially before he's revealed as Master Yoda, just like
Mine,
Mine.
and just the puppetry is so good. And I don't know. I've just been like, I've been a lot more sentimental towards puppetry and Muppets and stuff like that.
We know.
As you guys probably know.
Definitely
Yeah. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Brandon was quoting the movie, and it was just like we were having a great time.
It was like over the
laughing.
hedge.
It was sort
No.
of like over the hedge.
except
sort
I
of.
got more wrong.
Yeah, he
than
got
I
a
got
lot
right.
wrong.
Like I got it like partially right, but I'd miss up like words. Like not. It's kind of like I didn't mess up the I'm your father sequence, but like you know how a lot of people are like misquote the movie and say Luke,
Yeah.
I'm your father when
Yeah.
it's no, I'm your father.
Like
It's
a
like
Mandela
it's kind
effect
of like
thing.
that. Yeah, but other like sequences in the movie. But one of my favorite parts was in the like beginning of the movie when they're on Hoth
Oh.
and Han is like talking to Leia, and I told Chris after, I was whispering to Ethan about these guys go like walking past them while they're having this really serious conversation about him leaving and their love life, but they got shit to do, and they're like passing by, and maybe Ethan, you can put in a clip here. He was like, and I was like, oh, sorry, can I get by? Oh my god, please stop. And I just find it
excuse
so
me, coming
funny.
through. Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry, excuse me.
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me, bro. Jeez,
Because
sorry.
it happened like 5 times or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ethan, what did you think?
I mean, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Empire Strikes
Same.
Back. It's my favorite Star Wars movie, and it's just like, it was just such a delight to see that in such a clear picture on a big
Mhm.
screen with good audio. With
Yeah,
all my
and
good friends.
It was just like, I mean, like I remember just kind of being like taken aback when I saw the 20th Century Fox logo.
Oh yeah.
Just being like, whoa, wait a minute, we're seeing the like an original print kind of thing, and like
wasn't, though.
It wasn't, but it felt like it. But
Though
like,
I
yeah,
will say, Empire Strikes Back is the best of the special editions.
Oh, 100%.
yes, definitely the
When
best.
they changed the Emperor, makes sense.
I
Yes.
don't think there's necessarily any bad changes. I would say the worst is like maybe just like the sort of prequel
Best
stuff
bit.
that they do to Cloud City. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't need those shots of those. Like I like what they did to the backgrounds of Best
Yeah,
Bit.
like they
that's
opened
good.
up
But sometimes-
the windows and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they have shots of like people on the streets of Best Bit. I'm like, you don't really need that, you know?
Yeah. Or the like spacecraft flying in
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Bespin.
But I like what they do with let's see, with the
The
Emperor,
Emperor,
like you
yeah.
said. I like that they changed Boba Fett's voice. Some people that's sort of controversial, but I like the change, just because like
They're close.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind that that he's a clone, and I kind of like the prequel lore, so I think it works.
Briefly,
And Tamora
which
Morrison's
is the
best.
worst one?
The worst one.
The
is
worst
probably
one. Wait, the worst Star Wars movie?
The worst. No, the worst special edition. I know the best special edition edit.
Okay, the worst. Yeah, McClunky.
No, that's not even McClunky. I don't care about that one. I think the worst one is the song they changed at Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah,
Fucking-
no,
Oh yeah,
hate
that's
that
awesome.
that's the
change.
worst change they did. But I think
Mhm.
as a whole, I think they bastardized A New Hope quite a bit.
Really.
All of the shit
Yeah.
in Tatooine with like shit walking in front of the screen, I can't deal with.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jabba
Obi-
being on Tatooine, I can't with that.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's scream, howling.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just it's cringy. Not
Though,
even
to be fair,
scary.
that scream was never really good. in
the
any
rock,
edition.
the rock that they
the
put.
rock in front of R2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fake.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
I think the
good.
best change they made though in all of among the entire trilogy is at the end of Return of the Jedi when they switch out Yub Nub for John Williams.
That is
new
yes.
score.
controversial,
Yub
but
Nub.
good. Yeah,
Fuck
Yub Nub.
Yub Nub.
Yub Nub sucks.
I don't
Celebration
want
song.
my Star Wars trilogy ending like a damn Looney Tunes cartoon. All right.
Yeah.
I love some like sentimental score. I think that's way better.
Yeah,
Okay,
same.
we've been talking about Star Wars. We're almost 20 minutes in the show. This is a
Are we?
Halloween episode. Jesus Christ. Let's get into our Halloween picks. But before all that, let me tell you how the show works. If you're new listening, you want some Halloween content, you're listening to this podcast for the first time. All right. Once a week, we set a topic or theme and go our separate ways to construct our own 3-film stack. Then after a week, we come back here on the podcast and share our own stacks 1 film at a time. Then at the end of the show, we will mix and match our own 9 films to make the ultimate decision on what quintessential 3-film stack we are checking out of this hypothetical video store. Okay, Brandon, you're
Yes.
up first, bud, with your first Halloween movie.
My films all came before the 21st century.
21st century schizoid man.
So I'm going to be operating backwards. So the newest film I have is 1986's The Fly, which I know Ethan said, "Hey, why did you choose that for monster movies?" Well, here's the why. Because I didn't think of it. The Fly is this great horror movie. It's a magical film about a guy who is a scientist who wants to solve things, who wants a girlfriend, and finally gets one, but in the grossest way possible. Cronenberg humanizes the character going mad through his scientific experiment and his jealousy not his jealousy, but kind of like what he wants to attain but can't because of where he is as a person and what people think of him as a person. The Fly is a great body horror movie, and the reason why it makes me think of Halloween, because I saw Ethan make a face, is because like it does envelop this body horror-esque part of horror that I don't think we talk about. But like if you go into any haunted house, you have somebody like cut in half, or somebody who's morphed into a weird sort of like alien creature, like, or a being, like in the Not Scary Farm mazes. You know what
Sorry,
I mean?
you're fucking being shit. I can't with you.
But
The
This is a
xenomorph is a
movie.
being.
This is not
No,
a Halloween. This
no,
is a
no.
being movie.
hey, but it doesn't take place on Halloween. But it got that Halloween feel to it,
I disagree. I disagree. I appreciate you finally bringing up this film, but buddy, it should have been 3 episodes ago. This should have been on the monster movies. I would have had this on the final stack if you brought it up. But Cronenberg and Halloween, like,
Yeah,
it just it just don't mix. It don't mix. I mean,
I disagree.
I I have my own Halloween traditions that of watching horror films that I don't necessarily even think are good Halloween films. I famously watch John Carpenter's The Thing every Halloween, but it's not on my list. I don't that film doesn't remind me of the Halloween time, cuz it just like I don't know, the darkness to it and like the sophistication of like the exploration of our main character and his evolution into a actual monster is super fascinating and not something I would like throw on Halloween to have fun,
I would.
Well, that's because you're boring. Just
No.
kidding. No, not true.
No, I'm
No.
not.
No, but I don't know. If you would have chosen the original Fly,
Which I haven't seen, so.
I haven't seen either, but it's like I don't know, like sort of the retro classic horror films. Those fit more into the Halloween.
I
vibe
feel
for me
like the
because it's
beginning.
that feels more nostalgic.
The beginning of The Fly movie, the 1980s one, I could agree with you, but I think as the film progresses, the tone really matches the feeling I get on Halloween of the spooky time. And like people wearing like those spooky costumes and evolving into these weird creatures. That's what I mean.
And from like a cinematography lens, it's such a cold and dark movie that I don't necessarily
like
associate
Halloween.
with the aesthetic of Halloween. No, I see Halloween as dark, but like sort of also pretty vibrant with like neon oranges and greens and stuff like that, like dark lights and stuff like that. But I don't.
Okay, keep
I don't
running
know.
your mouth.
Okay, Chris, what do you think of The Fly?
I have actually never seen this movie. I remember as a kid, I would walk down this there's this street in Hong Kong where like everything is sold there, and like there's this one store that I used to just walk by all the time, and they sold like bootleg films, like pirated films, and just like it was kind of sketchy, but like honestly, like that's just how it is there. And I remember just walking by, and I would see like there's like a section in this store where it was all body horror films, like just all of the scary,
Ooh.
gross, explicit stuff. So like I remember just walking by that section all the time, very elusively and just very scared to like even so much as go near it. And I
Yeah.
would see like the Fly DVD just standing there, and I'm just thinking like, as a kid, I'm never gonna fucking see that movie.
The fly has
Um,
legs.
yeah, and just like it was
The disc
like,
has legs.
but yeah, I was always just terrified to see this movie, especially as a kid, and it just never really came up. I mean, like, I don't know. This isn't a movie that I think we talk about very much, or like this genre of body horror.
Mhm.
But I mean, you know, I've gotten past that since, so I'm open to seeing this one day.
Yeah, we should definitely check it out. Brandon, a movie night. Put on The Fly. I want to see it again.
It's majestical.
It's majestic. All right. Nice Hunt for the Wilder People reference there. Don't know what that had to do with anything, but yeah. All right, The Fly. All right, Chris, take us into your first pick.
All right. As opposed to Brandon, my picks this semester, I almost said semester, this episode are all 21st century films.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna go from most serious to least serious.
Okay.
So my first one is a 2016 film. We all saw it together at a movie night. We did it at a double feature. It was both of these the two films that we watched were from the same director. It's the director's name is Fede Alvarez. It's Don't Breathe.
Interesting. All right,
So-
tell me why you think it's a Halloween film.
Well, I kind of enjoyed like this, like you said, Ethan, that dark vibrancy. And I think the main colors they use in this film are orange and green. And I think there, of course, there's like the gross fluorescent look that, you know, you see in, you know, a lot of these movies. But I was really drawn to this movie when I first saw it because it really invigorated this sense of like, if I don't know, it reinvigorated the horror genre for me. I think like in the early 2000s especially, we were kind of in a time with the horror genre where we were seeing a lot of remakes, a lot of underwhelming franchise entries, and just kind of like, you know, it was all jump scares, or, you know, just cheesy crap like that. But, you know, as time went on, I feel like we started to give horror film a new sense of energy. And I think films like this and like maybe Get Out and like I'm sure there's many more that I'm forgetting, but you know, really bring that new sense of what a horror film means in, you know, our times. And I was just fascinated with the concept, you know, like three kids going into a house to rob this guy blind. Literally, they're literally robbing this guy who's blind. But he you know, this guy, he turns out to be like this like almost like, what's the word, like gorilla fighting like, you know, monster, and he's terrifying throughout this movie even though he's blind. And you know, you never like it's a very apt like title for the movie, Don't Breathe, because every breath you never know if that's going to be the last breath you take before this guy grabs you by the neck. And there's an amazing twist in this movie. I did not see that coming at all, and it fucking startled me, and I am terrified of that thing now. I will never look at a turkey baster again, like the same way. Oh man. So Thanksgiving's ruined.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you have
I
to
mean,
celebrate it.
yeah, not that I celebrate it, but hey, for you guys, haha. But yeah, what do you guys think about this movie, Brandon? I think aren't you a fan of Fede Alvarez's work? Like you like the Evil Dead remake.
I really like both of these movies. I'd
Mhm.
give Evil Dead 4, and I'd give this a 4.5. I love this movie. I think Chris kind of has a point. I don't think he mentioned something that I think makes this an apt Halloween movie. It's kind of a haunted house movie.
Oh, it really is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, it's like this is an abandoned street in like a probably like rundown area that used to be like really poppin' in terms of suburbia, and it kind of reminds me of Monster House in that sense, where it's like it's the only house on the street that has life, even if the life in it is like a fucking like blind guy who's insane, and his insane dog. So the reason why I like this movie so much is just it creates so much tension, and I think James Wan said it like you can only get like somebody good once with a jump scare. And the film doesn't really fake a jump scare that much. And like in fact they raise the tension in these scenes. They make sure to focus on the story just as much as the horror aspects of the film, which makes it a great movie because it doesn't really do what some slashers do, like the worst ones do. Like we watched Friday the 13th, where it's like people are doing things just because they need to do them so that Jason can kill them and or scare the audience. Whereas in like this movie, I think there's a genuine purpose or fear or in every action that takes place from our main characters. And I think the one of the things that Chris may or may not have touched on was like that Halloween or these horror films today have gotten so much more meaningful and so much more sophisticated with the way they handle subject matters. And Don't Breathe and Fede Alvarez's work does that, I think, to a great extent. Like Evil Dead's about addiction, and Don't Breathe is also about addiction, but also about running in with the wrong crowd and peer pressure and getting out of a really fucked up neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I think another reason that we got to point out about why this is a good Halloween movie to watch is it's ridiculously fun to watch with friends. You know, when we watched this for a movie night, like it was so fun to watch these kids. Like I finally, would you consider this sort of like a slasher? I don't know. Kids getting kind of getting picked off. It's more home invasion.
Yeah.
It's a reverse home invasion though. You're
That-
like
yeah.
invading the main person, the killer's house, which is funny. But I don't know. It's just like a good Halloween film is watching a film and being extremely entertained with a crowd, you know, with your friends. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say that's already been said. Like you guys nailed it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Good pick.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun times.
Bad pick,
Let's-
good movie. Just kidding.
No, good pick.
Good movie.
Good
Good
pick.
movie.
Good movie.
Yeah. All right. So mine, I ordered mine in chronological. So I'm gonna do the earliest film. There's a lot of classic like pseudo like horror like comedy movies.
Oh, like
from-
Monster Makers.
Yeah, like Monster Makers. No, like that I watched for the first time during the Halloween season with friends, like your Beetlejuice or stuff like that, you know. So
Overrated.
this pick is sort of in the same vein where it's a supernatural comedy that came from the 1980s, 1984. It's Ivan Reitman's Ghostbusters. Ba 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 ba. Come on, this movie, like the iconography of this movie is absolutely iconic. From the theme that's played every Halloween, to the characters, each member of the Ghostbusters is stands out on their own.
They're distinct.
Completely distinct. They're from their uniforms. Like, come on, everyone dresses up as the Ghostbusters, and like you see it so many times in media, like Stranger Things and other TV shows and movies of kids dressing up as the Ghostbusters for Halloween. And the ghosts themselves, like Slimer, has become iconic. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man has like been redefined as a Ghostbusters monster rather than a mascot for his own brand, you know? And this movie's just ridiculously fun. Like it handles the things like the topic of ghosts while making it semi-scary. Like I still think the library sequence at the beginning is pretty scary. Like that always scared me as a kid. And like the dogs and stuff like that, but it's also super funny because it's got great comedic talent. And this just reminds me of the Halloween season because of the bright neon ghosts and the goo, the slime, you know, and the bright lights of the
New York
photon
City?
packs
Oh,
in
oh.
New York City, you know, and just like the costumes and everything. I just think this is a great film to watch during Halloween.
Okay.
And I might do it this season. What do you guys think?
For me, it's like this. You know, like how Finding Nemo always gets played on TV and like everybody loves that movie.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of overplayed because that's like all they play on like ABC Family or some shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same for Ghostbusters around Halloween time for me. It's like, I don't dislike the movie by any stretch of the imagination. I really like it. It's one of the best comedies of the 80s. However, like, whenever I think of Ghostbusters, although it is a great Halloween movie, I think it, like, personally, it's just like, it's like, to me, very scattered, and like, I feel like it feels like more of like a montage than a movie at some points. You know, like,
Really?
there are more, yeah, because like they like follow the Ghostbusters exploits, but it's like in beats, like small little beats here and there, like, and it doesn't really feel like there's any character to it, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's about the group, but I guess that's the point. But like, here's the thing: I
Well,
like I
what
like
I
the
like
movie.
is there is this overarching part, like plot of these. It's been so long since I've seen it, which is probably why I think I was in the same camp as you. As a couple years back, I was pretty tired of hearing about this movie. You know, like I just thought this movie was like
Good,
3.5 out of 5. I thought it was good,
yeah,
but like people talk about it too much. But I think since the 4 years of not having cable during the Halloween season because I'm in college, you know,
yeah.
like it's been a while since I've seen this film, and I'm starting like I'm just thinking about it. It's getting honestly pretty nostalgic for me. So I went back last week and I raised my score for the film because I'm just like remembering all this great stuff about it. And just to argue against your like little the montagey thing you said, like I'd say like it's more. I know you don't like slice of life, but it feels kind of slice of life where you
I
have an
love
overarching
slice of life.
plot. I thought you don't. Oh, okay, sorry. But I love that the Ghostbusters have their little day-to-day missions, you know? Cuz as you're seeing the small business grow into the heroes of New York, you know? These weird geeky professors start a little business not being taken seriously, then they start going on these missions and then you know, they become the heroes. And I love those beats, and it's got great set pieces, like
Yeah,
it's a fun
it
time.
just reminds me of overplayed 80s nostalgia. Like, it's getting a little tired.
That's true. I can't argue with that. That it's become like a poster child for the 80s, similar to like Back to the Future, like Gremlins, or
I wouldn't
uh,
say Back to the Future is a poster child for the 80s, like,
are you
because
serious?
well, it's a timeless movie, and like, I don't really see people complaining about Back to the Future. I see more people complaining about like yeah, well, you haven't seen it in like 5 years. Um, and they're referencing like Ghostbusters and 80s horror more often than they are mentioning like something like Back to the Future or The Breakfast Club. Like, I think those two are timeless and like will never get old. Whereas with something that's more genre driven, like a sci-fi or horror movie, like, I think because of what we have today in terms of like Stranger Things, it really
Mhm.
drives that narrative home about that.
Okay, Chris, what do you think of Ghostbusters?
Yeah, this was one of the movies that like I had like no nostalgia for when I saw it because
Right.
kind of like similar to Jurassic Park, like I didn't grow up seeing that movie. It was
Mhm.
just kind of like, oh, I'm in high school. Hey, I've never seen this movie. Let me check it out. So it was just kind of like a clean slate watch. I didn't have any like social desire to love it or anything. It was just kind of like just an immediate viewing. Um, and yeah, I mean, like it was kind of for me just like it is just like a very very fun 80s like comedy and slash horror film. I adore like everything about the four Ghostbusters. I love their costumes. Their gear is the coolest. Like I remember as a kid I wanted nothing more than to wear one of their jumpsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like kind of similar to how as a kid, I don't know about you guys, but I really wanted Luke Skywalker's X-wing outfit. I really wanted that orange
Oh,
jumpsuit. It's kind of
yeah.
like that for me. So I really loved that aspect of it, like the design of things and just how creative everything is.
Mhm.
And just Bill Murray is just fantastic at all times.
I think he's the
So
best part of the movie.
I think so too.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I adore this movie for that. But like because didn't go into it with any like cultural inclination of how to like why I would love this movie,
Mhm.
it didn't like it didn't meet that standard that I think a lot of people hold in their hearts for Ghostbusters. But nonetheless, it's still a very very fun 80s like and yeah Halloween iconographic film.
Yeah.
Don't
All
disagree
right.
with it being a Halloween film. That's 100% true.
Yeah, it's 100% a Halloween
Hey.
film.
Okay. Okay.
You don't walk. You don't walk around in elementary school and have your Halloween parade with all the kids in the costumes without hearing Ghostbusters at least 7 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Definitely.
All right, Brandon. Take us in your second pick.
My second pick is a little more fun. It's definitely more mature. I know Ethan doesn't like this movie. It's 1975's The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Very-
Yes.
Another culty haunted house movie with great musical numbers, great costumes, a fun message, a fun musical number. It's got aliens in it. It's got monsters in it. It's like, typical Halloween, but with that musical flavor.
I would say okay. Full disclosure, I know there's a lot of Rocky Horror Picture Show fans in our audience, so I want to say I don't not like the film. I don't like watching the film by itself. I don't think that's fun, just watching it by yourself. But I love going to those midnight screenings and showings and the events. Like our own Chapman TPS, shout out. They always put on a great show with the
100%
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've gone every year, and I'm actually going to be a part of this year's. They're doing a virtual thing, and I'm actually going to.
Who are you gonna be? Rocky?
Who are you playing?
I'm not going to say. You're going to have to look forward to it. You're going to have to
You would
see.
remind me of a Rocky, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm a big old hunky guy. What can I say? I lift weights and be good.
You're either
muscle
Rocky or Meatloaf.
A motorcycle and saxophone.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, this is a good Halloween pick. This I see, because this is like, talk about a Halloween tradition right here, where all the small theaters always have their midnight screenings of this. Like the theater by my house in Salt Lake City, like a block away, every Halloween, like at around 10 p.m., I always see a line around the block with everyone in their Rocky Horror Picture Show costumes, waiting
Freezing
in line,
their asses off.
freezing their asses off because it gets pretty damn cold in October in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But they have dedication. What can I say? Because this is cool. This is a definition of a cult classic movie right here. Like I feel like this is one of the most iconic cult classics. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is just a fun time. Like I said, my rating on Letterboxd is more towards watching the film on its own. I just don't find any enjoyment. When I watched it for the first time, I watched it by myself because I heard about everything, So I watched it on my own, and I was like, "What the hell?" Okay. And then I started going to the TPS screenings, and I truly uncovered what it means to watch this movie with people who find it meaningful.
That's so weird, though.
Why?
I mean, I'm not saying you can't not enjoy it in a group, because I love seeing it in a group. I love going to one of those screenings. I went to one freshman year with our friend Donovan. But one of I saw this alone originally, and I really enjoyed it. And I would enjoy it anyway, watching it alone, watching it with friends at home, or watching it on a big screen or at a TPS performance or something like that. So.
Right. I don't know. I find it. I should say I found it. I found it just like a little like annoying and goofy at times, and that's probably why I love those events, because the people in the audience do point out how goofy and annoying it is at times, with ridiculous skits and stuff like that. And that it's interesting to see a piece of art be taken and turned into something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. I remember when I haven't seen this movie yet, but the only things I know about it are I know Time Warp and I know Sweet Transvestite, because Professor Fury. Yeah. I remember we walked into class one day, and we just sat down. I remember. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Professor Fury is like the queen of film studies at Chapman. She is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met, and she is incredibly studious. Very, very much like incredible woman. Yeah. And we sat down, and we're oftentimes greeted by her, and we'll get straight into the theory, and we'll start talking about culture and stuff like that. But then she pulls up on screen the Sweet Transvestite scene from Rocky Horror, and we're all just kind of sitting there in awe, just like looking at it. And for me, that was my first time ever seeing it, so I was like, what the hell am I? What is this? And then I remember after the clip ended, like the thing like stopped, and then we all looked at her, just like, oh, I wonder what she's gonna say. And she looked at us dead in the eye and said, I just wanted to show you guys that. Anyway, so and then went straight into the lecture. But no, yeah. I mean, like from the little bit that I do know, it does seem like a very, very fun film. And I think the performances, I mean, from that one sweet transvestite scene. What's the name of that actor?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, fantastic. He exudes energy and confidence, and just like that's a performer, that's an entertainer right there. That's someone who knows their craft and owns it to full capacity. And yeah, I have a great time, and I really want to check this out before Halloween comes around.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then come over to my house. We'll watch it
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Come on over. Come on, Chris. Come on
Hey,
over.
please.
Let's go
come
watch it.
over.
Come on over.
I didn't
All right.
mean to hurt you.
Well,
All right, Chris. Take us in your
All right.
second pick.
well, I am so glad that Brandon said Rocky Horror first before me, because
What?
my second pick is a reboot of a franchise that Tim Curry was in.
Oh.
2017 film directed by Andy Muschietti. It is It.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay, this movie came out in 2017, which is the year that we all came to college. And I think this film released in Halloween season of our freshman year, right?
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
the first weekend of September, actually.
Yeah, some like it was
super weird.
yeah. And like I remember just like our like at least our class of, of students, like we were all kind of just enamored by it for a while. It was something that I think all of us went to go see. We all, at least I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I think a vast majority of people did enjoy it. So yeah, okay. Well, this movie follows a group of kids in this small little town, and they are basically being hunted by this killer clown named Pennywise, played by Bill Skarsgård in this rendition, and he's fantastic in this movie, just as much as Tim Curry was, in my opinion. And yeah, I think like it's a wonderfully enchanting film. I think there's something very horrific about what you see. Is it an R-rated film?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both R-rated.
Yeah, and like it does have that terrifying, scary aspect to it, but there's something almost fantastical and almost like endearing about it, because more so the movie's about friendship and aspects of like your family, and how and overcoming one's anxieties and insecurities and things like that, which I think especially nowadays a lot of us are tackling. So I think it's a very, very apt film for our generation. And I mean, like, yeah, Pennywise is like, do you remember like when killer clowns just kind of standing around was like a thing?
I was just going to say that. The clown plague of 2016. That, I will never forget that. What the big killer clown phase of that year. That shit was iconic.
Can't relate.
You can't relate?
Yeah.
What do you
They
mean?
didn't have
It was
killer
all over
clowns
the
in
internet.
Arizona.
Yeah, but it didn't happen to me. I'm not.
Well, it never happened to me. I just liked watching the videos and seeing people be scared by clowns in the middle of the woods at night. It was
Well, I'm not
insane.
scared.
Well, it's not scary. It was just entertaining.
Oh, okay.
You idiot. All right. Yeah, this is a great pick, Chris.
Yeah.
This was my first movie that sort of jump started my interest in horror, because I remember before coming to college, like I really put horror aside. I found a few of them really good. Like, of course, John Carpenter's The Thing, The Shining, Alien, Jaws. Those ones were always my favorites. But like, I never really stepped outside because I didn't find like the jump scare. That's sort of how I saw horror with, because a lot of the early 2010s horror and 2000s horror was kind of like that. I wasn't really a fan of that kind of stuff. Just never seemed to interest me. But I saw this movie with friends. Like the first week of Chapman of freshman year, and what amazed me the most was like not necessarily finding this as a scary movie. Sure, there are scary elements, like Pennywise has become iconic for like the scenes. I think jumping out of the projector was, I think, the scariest moment of the film.
I jumped in my seat.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm
was
not
pretty
scared
scary.
of clowns.
But I found that the scariest moment. But I loved the Losers Club, man. Like that. I think that's a great part of having this be considered as a Halloween film. Is just like, do you remember when you were a kid? Sorry, that's a Joey's Tour reference. But just like, remember being a kid and having a group of friends and like their chemistry, interaction stuff reminded me when I used to go trick or treating. You know, and like everyone, that movie was so well casted. At least the first chapter was in terms
Shut
of the
up.
kids.
Shut up.
Okay, but I found like Finn Wolfhard as Richie was like that. That's the best work he's ever done. Like even better than Stranger Things.
Even
And
better
we'll
than the
ever-
Goldfinch.
Oh, well, that I don't want to talk about that. Come on, talk about a Halloween scare. That was, ugh. Anyways, but yeah, this like it was insane to watch the hype of this movie build up and pay off. You know, because a lot of people were hyped about it, and then it just like it became a phenomenon. This film, and it's super cool to see with an R-rated horror film these days. Brandon is like sucking in his whole entire face. His eyes, his mouth. I can't even see it. It's just a blank slate.
Like Robert De Niro in
Yeah.
any movie.
What do you think of this movie, buddy?
I like both of them. I think they're both great Halloween movies about anxiety and about overcoming your fears. And I think that's very apt for somebody like Ethan, who probably was more afraid of horror films and maybe not interested rather than afraid. But, you know,
Come on,
Call
man.
you out, Ethan. Jeez.
Come on, man. Will you
It's
just
not, it's
shut
not
up?
that I wasn't super scared.
just-
I wasn't interested.
Ethan, how does it feel to have your Brandon pull your pants down in the middle of the schoolyard?
I'm not
I can run
humiliated.
around that dude's legs and topple him over like an AT-AT. Speaking
I'm
of
not
Empire
humiliated.
Strikes Back.
I am not humiliated. I I like it
You
a
will
lot.
not bully me.
Okay, talk about the movie. Come on, we're 50
I'm trying
minutes
to.
in.
I'm
Jesus.
trying to. I'm trying to. All right. I think it's a great movie. Great characters. The kids are perfectly cast. The horror is really good. It's between tension and jump scares, but it doesn't overuse jump scares. The one scene that does get you is that fucking garage scene where they're going with the projector. That is the
Yeah.
scary scene of both movies. And I love it. So, yeah.
It's awesome. Okay, let's go on to my second pick. This Halloween movie is not only just a Halloween movie. It's a film you can watch for 2 holidays.
No.
I think you all know what I'm talking about.
3 holidays.
3?
Yeah.
All right, I'd like to see what you say about it. But when I think of Halloween, the first film director I think of is Tim Burton. Even though he didn't make this film, his essence is everywhere throughout the film. It is 1993's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Nice Funko Pops. I thought you were about to do like a double stack thing by holding out all of your merchandise.
No,
I guess it's
my girlfriend
What?
bought me these.
oh nice, cute.
Oh, it's so nice. The audience can totally see it.
No, but this one I purely just think a Halloween film from the aesthetics. This one is just overloaded with. This looks like it's Brandon Winchester's front lawn as a film. You know,
That's what it is
saying?
based off of. That my dad
There you
loves
go.
this movie.
See,
So.
I told you. But yeah, this is just a fun film. I sort of. I have not seen it in a while, I gotta say, but I really want to watch it before Halloween this year because, you know, I watched a Disney Plus series called Prop Culture, where it's a guy going through and finding props from old films, and I watched an episode with my dad about this movie, Jesus Christ, and it's just like I forgot how much like creativity went into the making of this film. Obviously the stop motion, and I didn't even realize like it's Frank Baskin like elements, and how that's the reason why they made it stop motion is they wanted to like do a twist on like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and do like a darker, like more twisted version of those like productions, you know? And it works. The music by what's his name? Jesus Christ. Oh god, what's his name? What's Tim Burton composer name?
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, the music by Danny Elfman. Sorry. And he's the voice of Jack when at least he's singing, you know?
Yeah.
It's great. All the music is very good in this film. Like one of the few musicals that I can actually stand. Um,
Boo-hoo.
and
Go home.
go cry, boo-hoo. But like I said, it's like interesting. I'd say this is more of a Halloween movie than a Christmas movie. I'd rather watch it during the spooky time than
It's
the
neither.
holly jolly time. It's neither.
Yeah.
Okay, give me your piece. What do you think about this movie?
It's Thanksgiving. This is a Thanksgiving movie. I'm not even joking, okay? Here's the reason. I watched a film theory episode about it. Not like film theory as in like MatPat or whatever, but there was a guy who was like doing a theory online, and it was a film theory about haunted this movie, this Nightmare Before Christmas, because it doesn't take place on Halloween, because only 5 minutes of it actually takes place on Halloween. The rest is the lead up to Halloween, so it takes place on the in between. And what comes in between? Thanksgiving. And if you look at the film's themes and color palette, it very much feels more like a Thanksgiving themed film with the luscious browns, the trees everywhere. Yes, there are Halloween and Christmas aesthetics, but the film is about being thankful and giving to other people in the end. It's not about Halloween or Christmas as a singularity.
Interesting. Chris, what do you think about this movie?
Ethan, I think you just got pwned by Brandon.
I don't think I just got pwned. I just think Brandon just recited a YouTube video he saw.
Yeah, like 6 years ago. It
And
stuck
I
with
wasn't,
me,
I
so
wasn't
it counts.
paying attention. So I don't know what he just said, because I'm worrying about other shit in my life right now. Chris, what do you think about Nightmare Before Christmas?
I really enjoy this movie. I remember as a kid, like, I could not stop laughing anytime Jack Skellington's head would detach from his body and he would continue singing. I just found that to be like the
That's
funniest
it?
fucking thing. That was my one takeaway from this movie. So therefore, it is a Halloween movie. But no, I think it's a very whimsical and wonderful movie. I think like the Halloween and Christmas aesthetics are two pretty much opposite ends of a spectrum in terms of like joy versus fear. But somewhere in the middle comes this what Nightmare Before Christmas is, which is this kind of conglomeration of both aspects of those holidays.
Thanks.
I think so I do definitely agree with Brandon's position on it being a Thanksgiving movie. Granted, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving at all, so it's still universally accessible.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, I adore this movie. It's so much fun. I love the aesthetic so much. It's such an inventive world. And I mean, have you guys heard about that like 15-foot tall skeleton from Home Depot?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to decorate that with Jack Skellington's Christmas outfit. I would put that on my lawn.
Can I do a quick story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So in high school, or not in high school, in elementary school, we used to do pumpkin carving contests at my school, and you painted your pumpkins and you carved your pumpkins, and whoever, it was like based on a certain like theme, so you had to match it up with a book or movie or whatever. My dad and I made a Jack Skellington pumpkin, and then we put it on we put it on a body made of PVC pipes and decorated it. So it was his body and his costume from the movie, as well as this pumpkin head. And since we got a mask and we put it on the body, because obviously the pumpkin rotted after that month,
Yeah.
but like that won us the contest, and like it was like a long string of pumpkin wins in that pumpkin contest. But I that's my connection to this movie.
Yeah.
It is played universally on Halloween. It's impossible not to like this movie. It's one of the best things Tim Burton has ever been a part of, because he didn't direct it, like you said.
Yeah.
But music's great. The comedy's pretty good. It's kind of scary, and
Yeah.
honestly, Haunted Mansion Holiday is better than Haunted Mansion. I said it.
I agree. I agree with you there. Boom. All right. Let's go into the final round here, Brandon. Take us into your last pick.
My last one's an old one. It's probably
Oh.
good. Our podcast is gonna be longer than this movie. It's 1932's Freaks.
Brandon,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were gonna pick at some point in this episode The Haunted Mansion starring Eddie Murphy.
with Eddie Murphy.
I didn't pick it, but I think that's a great movie.
I was
Yeah.
thinking Haunted Mansion or Halloween-town or Hubie Halloween as a joke, but then I was like, nah, I gotta choose good picks this week. Freaks from 1932 by Todd Browning is this circus horror movie about people in circuses who are essentially part of the freak shows. They're not freaks, but the public views them as such, right? In the first 10 minutes of the film, it's just like getting to know the characters and like their intertwining friendships and stuff. But then you find this horrible woman who's in this circus troupe who really doesn't belong there because of how she treats people and the fact that like she's basically just the same as everybody who's making fun of these little people, these people with social deficiencies and deformities. So it's really this revenge tale about how this woman wrongs them, and they, well, you'll see. Watch the movie. It's very
Really?
horrific. It's very creepy all the time. It's also very sweet, but it's like it's one of those the first horror films that I've seen from that far back that was really disturbing to me, because I've seen like the Frankensteins and the Draculas, like the old Universal monster movies, but they're not really scary. They're like kind of campy and they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make them. But this one like actually kind of disturbed me, like the gooble gobble. It's kind
We
of
accept them, one of us.
exactly. It's kind of terrifying in the way it's presented.
Wow.
But it wasn't until like the 50s or 60s when you starting to get into like that really scary stuff. But I mean, really, I really enjoyed this film. It's great. It's very topical and controversial. But yeah,
Damn. Chris, what do you think?
Never seen it.
Me neither. I've never seen this, but like I remember Sellers watched it when we were roommates freshman year, and like I only saw clips of it and I was like, this is an interesting film for being so old. Yeah, there they are. Brandon's showing up the poster.
Freaks.
But I want to check this out. Like
it's a great Halloween movie.
that's interesting. I don't really associate like circus and like these freaks and stuff with Halloween, but I'd love to watch the movie and see what you're talking about. Okay.
All right.
Cool. I don't have really much
Sick.
to say about that. Freaks. Cool. Nice. All right.
Sick.
Freaky. Freaky, if you will.
Freaky
All
Friday.
right, Chris. Yeah. Is that your next pick, Chris? Go
No.
into your final.
So my final pick, I'm amazed that this movie hasn't come up before, is a 2004 film directed by Raya Gosnell. We all have a blast anytime we see this movie.
No.
You know what it is.
Yeah, I do.
Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
Fuck yes.
Come
That
on.
movie.
Fantastic movie.
Underrated.
I think underrated as hell. It's an incredible movie. It's so much fun. All of the characters have great arcs. You are surprised by seeing for example, like Freddy, who's my least favorite of the bunch. Like he learns humility and not to be such a toxic masculine dickhead the entire time. Daphne learns to be empowered and have confidence. Velma learns not to just be she doesn't just have to be confined to the identity of a nerd. There's more to her than that. And just it's just so much fun. I adore everything about this movie. The whimsical fantasy of it all, these like monsters, the story is great. It's just it's everything I could ever ask for in an early 2000s cheese Halloween fest. I think it's just so wonderful.
This is for Tori.
This is a movie for Tori.
Tori loves this movie.
Tori saw this, I think, as a kid, and then she hadn't seen it for a while, and then we saw it together just in my apartment a little while ago, and she fell in love with it again, and it's now in her top 4 just out of nowhere.
I feel like it unlocks like a piece of your brain to watch one of these live action Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah.
And I will never not associate Scooby-Doo with Halloween.
Yeah. I love that you said it unlocks part of your brain, because I just immediately envisioned turning this movie on, and it's like that scene from Lucy when she gets an extra 30% of her brain, and she's like,
No, it's actually a really good movie. I feel like people sleep on it. Yes, it's cheesy but that's Scooby-Doo. And the fact that it doesn't try and be it's a different thing. It sticks to the same tone as Scooby-Doo and the same jokes as Scooby-Doo, like the cartoon works for it. I mean, they do kind of mature some of the characters a little bit, but that's a welcome sight. And the monsters in this movie are great. the fact that they're real and then some of them are costumed is like fucking quintessential Halloween. Like
Yeah.
that's what you want to see, a mystery in like the big city.
Yeah, James Gunn kills it. He does a great job with writing this script and everything. And like, I would pay good money for James Gunn to come back and start working on Scooby-Doo films.
Agreed.
So-
Instead of what we got with the Warner Brother Animation Scoob.
Yeah.
So what my experience with this film is, I thought I've seen both the Scooby-Doo movies,
Mhm.
but apparently I've just seen the first one multiple times and thought I was seeing the different one, because I was like, so the first Scooby-Doo one is like that one with the ghost in the factory, like the one at the beginning of the movie, right?
Mm.
And then I was like, and then the second Scooby-Doo one is when they're on the island. And you two were like, no, that's still the first one. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I haven't seen the second one. So I have not seen the second one, but
It's so much better than
It's
the
better.
first, dude.
Underrated
Yeah.
opinion though. That's what
Really?
everybody
Yeah.
says, the first one's better, but
Second
I
one's
tend
way
to
better.
disagree with that.
Yeah,
Mm.
same.
that's surprising. But yeah, I gotta check it out. I know all you people love it, so it's on my HBO
Whoa,
Max
whoa,
watch
whoa.
list.
What do you mean, you people?
Shut up. Shut up. The last thing I want to say is the color palette. Very, very Halloween. Lots of oranges, purples, greens.
You're literally
Right.
You're literally describing the group's shirts. Orange,
The shirt-
purple, greens.
Very orange, purple, green, white with
vel-
an ascot.
I didn't realize that.
Why would I
Do you want to put up my first day of school when I was a Scooby-Doo kid?
Sure.
Didn't you have a Scooby? Wasn't it you who had the Scooby-Doo lunchbox?
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, you still had it till last year. That was crazy.
Brought it to college.
You brought your lunchbox to college.
Yeah, sure. Throw up the photo right here. Boom. There's
Boom.
Brandon's the Scooby-Doo kid.
Let's
Scooby-Doo-
let's get out of here.
I haven't seen this movie, but I know Scooby-Doo is a good pick for Halloween, because the two go hand in hand. So good pick, Chris.
Woo.
All right. My last film was casually mentioned by Brandon earlier.
Oh, what? What was it?
It's a 2020 film.
No.
A
Oh.
new Halloween classic that I will be watching every year. That is Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween. Halloween is a varnish.
Halloween is a parnas. It's
All right.
this movie, it is all levels of stupid that just makes it all so good.
Mhm.
But it's funny to laugh at, but it's also a really good Halloween movie. Like, I don't think anything like any other film has captured like this, like the feelings of Halloween and like the culture around it, like as a community, better than this film. Like, I love the haunted houses, the parades, the drive-ins, the whole setting of Hubie Halloween is so good. And then it's just filled with all these stupid characters and this stupid Hubie and his fucking thermos. Like, why? Who invented this character? Was like, okay, so there's this guy and he talks like this and he talks like this the whole time, but he also has a thermos that can do literally anything and it's amazing.
I think it was Adam Sandler who invented
Yeah, probably Adam Sandler, because he has all the power in Hollywood for some reason, because his movies make lots of money.
People
for
watch
some
his
reason.
movies no matter what. It's Adam
No
Sandler.
matter what. He's just that likable in the business, I guess.
I-
you know?
I remember a long many episodes ago we were talking about how the celebrity like star power of like, you know, oh, I'm going to this movie to see this actor is like slowly fading away.
Yeah.
But Adam Sandler has retained his incredibly well.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
People are begging for more Adam Sandler movies.
People
And,
see Adam Sandler for him, not what the movie's about.
yeah, it doesn't matter what the movie's about. If Adam Sandler's in it, people are seeing it.
That's
Damn right.
Yeah, but like this is I'm like, okay, so I have a very funny some funny input on the story. But first of all, was this okay? I heard a rumor that when Adam Sandler did Uncut Gems and he was getting all this hype for potential Oscar nominations, he swore revenge on Hollywood if they did not give him that nomination to create the worst movie in the world.
Yeah.
Was this that product?
Apparently it is not. because
Okay, there's something coming.
Hubie Halloween was already filming while he was saying that.
Okay,
So
so
whatever is next though, we're fucked.
yeah, the
But
apocalypse is upon us.
But by the trailers and everything, we all thought we were like, okay, this is the big one. Everyone's strapped down, which I think is why there was so much hype around the film at first.
Yeah,
you know, because like
absolutely.
this looks so stupid. He warned us he's gonna make the worst movie ever. Could this be it? But then later it is debunked. But that was after we had all already seen it and had such a great time because of how stupid and weird it is. You know?
Yeah, I've heard also that like Adam, there's rumors going around that Adam wants to set up what I'm gonna start calling the Sandler verse.
Mm-hmm.
Where
yes, because at the beginning of the movie, Ben Stiller plays a character from one of Adam Sandler's previous films.
Yeah,
which is why I haven't seen. I think it's Happy Gilmore.
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, but because I was like, why is he introducing himself as Hal L? Apparently, that's a character in a past film. So
yeah. So that would be amazing if that happened. So, okay, wait, but the story about my viewing experience. So I was over at Ethan's place. We played Mario Party. We were all intoxicated and we put on the movie. I think I made it like 20 minutes in. And then I blacked out on Ethan's couch. But like I was watching the movie and I was like, this is amazing. Like I can't comprehend anything, but this is fantastic. And then I black out and I wake up like an hour later and we're watching Norbit. And I remember just waking up, looking at the screen, still incredibly intoxicated, and just saying, wait, this isn't Hubie Halloween.
And then immediately passing out afterwards.
Yep.
I was the only one who made it through Norbit. I remember it was 2:30 in the morning. I look around, half the people left, and then you two were blacked out on my couches.
I made it 75% of the way through Norbit.
No, you didn't. No, you
Yes,
didn't.
I did. Yes,
no,
I did.
you. I was watching you. I was watching.
Why were you watching me and not the movie?
I was looking back and forth. I wasn't just watching you dumbass.
Yeah,
but I kept looking. I'm like, who's awake? Who's awake? And halfway through the film, Brandon's face was in between the couch cushions, face planted.
That's
and
true.
Chris was on the couch all the way by the kitchen, just out. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just watching Norbit alone at 2 a.m.
I remember a water slide.
I remember a water slide, and then I think when what's the name of that character that rides the water slide?
I don't know. Norbit's
Norbit's
giant
girlfriend.
wife.
Norbit's giant wife.
Yeah, they tie each other up and shit. Right.
When Norbit's giant wife goes down the slide, I think when she makes impact is when I blacked out. In that moment.
But this isn't a Norbit. This isn't a Norbit.
This is a Norbit. It's Hubie Halloween. It's Hubie Halloween.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
A new. Okay, so I have John Carpenter's The Thing, and now I have that and Hubie Halloween. I think I'm gonna have Hubie Halloween to kick off Halloween month, and then John Carpenter's The Thing to end it.
I've seen this movie twice.
Me too. On the same day, I watched Hubie Halloween like earlier that day, and then when you guys came over later that night.
I watched it sober and I watched it intoxicated.
Yeah.
Sober was a pretty suffering experience, I think, because when you comprehend everything that's happening, it's like, why is all this happening? What is happening? It's not like like I think I said it to Joey in my review. I was like, it's not that it's like funny like traditionally. It's not like it's funny what they're saying. It's funny that it's happening. And you just don't know why, because it's so random. Because
exactly.
Because it's just so much shit thrown at you that it's just the amount is just like relentless with the thermos and all of that.
Yes.
It's Halloween. It's not. There are parts of it that are genuinely like funny gags, and then there are parts of it that are like so offensive or dumb.
Yeah,
or
that you're just laughing that it even exists.
Right, exactly.
Who okayed this?
It's like Jeremy Savile.
The Shaquille O'Neal scene. That's all I'm gonna say.
That is.
I'm just
also
like,
Ray Liotta and China Anne McClain outside the haunted.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Ray Liotta.
Like, what was that?
Well, this takes place in some weird alternate universe where time and age does not like sync, because kids were confusing Hubie as
A child.
as a 5th grader, even though
Oh, I
he's
thought
this
you were-
giant man with a mustache who clearly looks 40 years old.
Who's obviously flirting with Julie Bowen at this museum.
Yeah, with their mom.
with their
And
mom.
we're like, oh, are you a new kid in my class? And we're like,
He's like, no.
what?
He's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, what did they put in the water in this universe? You know, that like
Don't ask Flint.
all these
Michigan.
people are so deranged.
hope
I would not like to live in this universe, but I'd love to. I love
Yeah.
to watch it.
It's the same universe as Gummo,
It really does feel like it.
except it's the upper class version. It's the upper.
Yeah.
Upper,
class.
it's like the Beverly Hills area of Gummo.
Okay.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
great
but
pick,
That's
great pick, Ethan. Love Norbit.
that's my final.
I mean,
pick.
I mean, Hubie Halloween.
Have.
Happy Halloween.
My brain's something about Norbit.
Okay. Before we go into our finals, this is gonna be tough. We have a lot of we
This
didn't
is a
double
hard
stack today, which I'm proud. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah,
I wasn't trying to. I haven't.
Well,
been
I'm
trying to.
never trying. Yeah, no,
I've never
I'm
tried
never
to,
trying
but
to,
usually
it's just
it
like-
happens. Yeah.
Usually it just happens.
It just
Well, last
whatever
episode
happens.
we double
We did
double.
Yeah.
The double.
Oh,
In
and out.
fuck! I might go
All
get
right.
that after.
That sounds good.
All right, but before we get to it, let's run down our films. Brandon, you want to start us off?
Yes, I will. All right. The Fly, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Freaks.
Chris?
Don't Breathe, It, and Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
And mine was Ghostbusters, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Hubie Halloween.
All
And
right.
maybe Ninja Punish.
Scooby-Doo 2 is on this list.
I'm
Scooby-Doo 2, please. That's all I ask. I'm okay with missing the others, but Scooby-Doo
I was
going
gonna say that or It from Chris's picks.
No,
And if you guys want Scooby-Doo 2, fine.
I'd be down for both, but Scooby-Doo 2 is
Scooby-Doo-
must-have for me.
Scooby-Doo
2
reminds me of
stands on its own.
Halloween, so
It really does. It's like Mamma Mia 2.
okay. And I think from Brandon's, I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is a good
Agreed.
one.
Because
Just
it's a
because
good movie for friends and family.
Good for movie friends, and it's become such a tradition for everyone.
Yes.
And then I would either say, what do you guys think from mine?
Nightmare
Or
I
Hubie?
like Ghostbusters
Hubie.
for its significance, but I also think
Let's
Hubie
say-
is contemporary.
We will
gold.
never put Hubie Halloween on another stack, so let's put it on this one.
I agree.
What do we say?
I
because
agree.
Nightmare Before Christmas is too similar to Rocky Horror Picture Show with the music,
That's true.
and also it's a Thanksgiving movie.
I'm so interested to now see that. Like, I'm gonna rewatch it this week probably.
Yeah, I think you'll see it. It's pretty
Yeah?
easy. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But
that's
cool.
That's really interesting.
What a chaotic trio of movies.
Yeah.
Get
None of them are
high,
necessarily
get
horror,
drunk.
but yeah, this is
Whatever,
just one
dude.
for you to
It's
just
Halloween.
blow out with your friends on a Halloween party and just have a good time.
Yeah.
All right, let's run it down. Wait, what's the order here? Should we just do Rocky Horror, Scooby Doo, Hubie Halloween?
I think Scooby-Doo should end it. I think it has a fantastic ending.
What do you think, Brandon? Do you agree?
But it
I'm
also
not
does
sure.
set the stage really well.
I think Hubie going in the middle is okay. It kind of after Hubie Halloween, everybody was so energized to watch another movie that we put on Norbit, and then we lost all of our energy because Norbit was so bad.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like putting something just as energetic right afterwards, but has like a solid ending, is tidy. And thus having Rocky Horror feels like the beginning of something, because when it opens, it's a black screen and then it's just this pair of lips and that's a song and you're like, ah, yes, my journey has begun,
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me.
Okay. So Scooby Doo last and Hubie in the middle.
Yes.
Okay. And then Rocky Horror to kick it off. Got it.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's run it down. Stack's official Halloween 3 film picks to watch on that Halloween night after you got all your candy and you're sorting out your candy and you want to throw on some 3 films, maybe with some alcohol. I don't know
Stay
why
late.
you're also trick-or-treating, but you're also old enough to have alcohol and just have a good time.
Or go purchase your own Halloween candy.
Yeah. I mean, there's great deals on 250 pieces of candy or $11 right now. Just go buy one of those and there you go.
Mhm.
But let's
Now
run
I
it
want
down.
to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, do
All
that.
right. Brandon, kick us off with our quintessential Halloween film stack.
All right, our first film is The Rocky Horror Picture Show, a great kickoff to the Halloween season, a one that you can have fun with your friends with, great musical numbers to dance along with. If you have a shadow cast there with your friends, have fun, and also, it's just a crazy movie. You like that stuff.
And our second pick is a new modern Halloween classic comedy starring Adam Sandler as the new iconic actor career defining role as Hubie. This is Hubie Halloween. And remember, if you don't want to scare people, remember to take only one piece of candy and have a good, happy Halloween. Chris?
And our final film is a film directed by Ryan Gosnell in 2004, Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. It is a wonderful film about friendship and family, and is just a all-around blast throughout. It's incredibly fast-paced narrative, and yeah, all around just a pleasant time.
All right, everyone, that's it. That's our Halloween-athon.
Yeah, that's the conclusion to it all. And
vote for Joe. Please vote for Joe Biden. I swear.
Hey, I'm just gonna tell you to vote. That's all I'm gonna say.
What's a vote?
What's a vote? Chris, you can't vote. Get out of here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, thank you all for joining us for this Halloween-athon. This was really fun. But it's gonna be good to go back to our normal setting with our normal theme song and everything. Yeah, Halloween's a very special month-long event. Now, and it was great to now cement that with some good picks. I encourage all of you to pick any of these films that we picked any time during this month. I'd love to hear if anyone does that and watches some films during the Halloween season. That was a stacked recommendation. I know some people have already watched some ghost films, A Ghost Story. I know some people watched that as a stacked recommendation.
Yep. Did they like it?
Yeah, I think they liked it. I
Wait,
think it was Milo.
Who watched it? Oh, it was Milo? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched Ghost Story and he really liked it.
Shout out Milo.
Fuck Milo.
Oh, hey, well, looks like we have a beef here and we might have to settle it in the future.
Yeah, Brandon beat the show, D.W. Griffith. Now it's Milo's turn.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right,
don't compare me to him.
Do not compare me to him.
Do not compare me to a horrible man. All right, everybody. That's it from Stacked for this Halloween-athon. We'll catch you next episode. And if you just hate us and you only like Halloween movies, we'll catch you next year.
All right. Peace, homies.
Bye.
Bye.
Can you put some spooky music?
I always do.